Welcome, everyone, to TRN episode 141.
Hello.
Today, we're looking at that earthquake situation in Istanbul recently. It caused quite a stir, felt in Kocaeli and Sakarya, too.
Yes, definitely made an impact across the region. There were some initial confusing reports, so let's try and piece together what actually happened.
Okay, so first things first. There was an initial tremor recorded, right?
That's correct. A magnitude 3.9. Relatively small, you might think.
And the epicenter was reported offshore, in the Marmara Sea, near Silivri.
Exactly, off the coast of Silivri. And interestingly, it was quite shallow. The depth was recorded at just under 7 kilometers, 6.99 kilometer.
Which often means it's felt more strongly nearby, even if the magnitude isn't huge.
Precisely. Shallow quakes tend to have a more localized, sometimes sharper impact right near the epicenter, but that wasn't the main event.
No, it wasn't, because later that same day, around, 12:49 p.m.?
Yeah, just before 1 p.m., that's when the bigger one hit.
And this one was significantly larger, magnitude 6.2. A 6.2, yes, same general area, Silivri offshore, again, quite shallow, around 6.92 kilometers deep.
That's a massive jump from 3.9 to 6.2. We're talking a huge difference in energy release, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely enormous. It's a logarithmic scale, so each whole number is roughly 32 times more energy. So yeah, 6.2 is, well, it's a serious earthquake with potential for real damage.
And it was felt widely in those neighboring provinces we mentioned earlier.
Unsurprising, given the magnitude and the shallow depth again, that combination really spreads the shaking.
Then came the aftershocks. I saw reports of one near Buçikme.
Yes, there were several, as you'd expect. One notable one registered 4.4 magnitude, also around 7 kilometers deep.
So these aftershocks, they're basically the ground settling after the main jolt.
Essentially, yes. The Earth's crust is readjusting after the main rupture. They can still be quite strong, unsettling, and potentially dangerous for structures already weakened by the main shock. It shows the fault system is still active.
Right. Now, let's talk about the response. We heard from Cumhurbaşkanı Erdoğan pretty quickly. Yes, he expressed well wishes and stated that the situation was being monitored closely, standard leadership response in such events.
And the Interior Minister, Ali Yerlikaya.
He announced that AFAD, the Disaster and Emergency Agency, and related teams were immediately dispatched for field assessments.
So their first job is basically boots on the ground, seeing what's happened.
Exactly. Assess damage, check for injuries or worse, coordinate any necessary rescues, and just get a clear picture of the situation. Information gathering is key initially.
AFAD also put out specific advice, didn't they?
They did. Very important advice. Primarily warning people not to enter buildings that might be damaged.
Because of the risk of collapse or further damage from aftershocks?
Precisely. It's a critical safety measure. They also advised using SMS, texting and data messaging apps rather than making calls.
Because the phone networks get jammed.
Exactly. Voice calls can overload the system very quickly in an emergency. Text and data often use different channels or less bandwidth, so they have a better chance of getting through. Smart advice.
And you saw how people reacted, too. Everyone who felt it, immediately trying to find out what was the magnitude, where was it?
Absolutely. That instant search for information is just second nature now. People need to understand what happened, if they or their loved ones are safe, what the risk is.
It highlights how crucial, reliable, fast information from official sources is in those first hours.
Definitely. It helps manage anxiety, directs people towards safety measures, and counters potential misinformation, which can spread rapidly.
Okay, so summing up, an initial 3.9 tremor, followed by a significant 6.2 magnitude quake offshore Silivri, shallow depth, noticeable aftershocks like the 4.4, and a swift response from authorities with vital safety warnings.
That covers the key points, yeah. A stark reminder of the seismic reality for the Istanbul region.
It really is. And it makes you think, doesn't it, about preparedness. Not just the official response, but on a personal level.
Absolutely. Do people have their own emergency kits or plans? Do they know what to do during shaking, where to get reliable updates afterwards?
Crucial questions. Something for all of us living in active zones to consider. Before the ground starts shaking. How ready are you, really?